Senator Barrow for the floor on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, members. Many of you guys certainly don't know my story. You don't know my life. You don't know my history. And initially, I was not going to come to the mic. But one of the things that I heard repeatedly was how this was an attack against Congresswoman Letlow and how we couldn't allow this to happen to Congresswoman Letlow. And this is not about her. She is a lovely lady. This is about fairness, representation, and opportunity. As Senator Peterson was talking, a whole lot of emotions began to arise because recently I had the opportunity to go to the museum in Alabama where it had a lot of our history, and it started with the slave ship and just took you through the whole process of how we have progressed as a country and the role that African Americans have played. And as I went through that museum, it became so emotional at one point when I saw they did a replica of a woman asking if anybody knew where her children were because they had been taken. And so I got to the point where I couldn't finish going through the museum because growing up as a little girl, see, I was born in Mississippi. My parents moved to Louisiana, but every year, as many of you may have encountered, you go stay with your grandmother. And there were a lot of things that I saw growing up in the 60s. My grandparents who fought and were a part of the civil rights movement. I learned at an early age about the importance of voting and being counted. And when Karen's saying being seen, that did something to me. See, I don't want my grandchildren, who will in 10 years, one will be 17 and the other one will be 26, to not be seen. This is my second time going through this process. And the first time, we didn't have the numbers. We all know the math. We done been through it several times. 1/3 of 6 is 2. We didn't have that 10 years ago. But we do now. And as Senator Jackson stated, I've talked with some of you. I won't call nobody's name. And I've said, let's just do the right thing. And some have said, I can't. To see the party. And the one thing I say to myself often is I just want to be a woman that represents all the people. A one who stands up for what's right, no matter what the color is, because it's the right thing to do. I'm just asking some of you guys to fear God more than you fear man, as we talk about him all the time. And that's one thing I'm so grateful about. It's the fact that we still reverence him in this body. Every day we pray and we reverence him. I'm asking you to please have more fear from what God is telling your conscience to do than the man or the party or whomever, and some of you guys have said the party, have told you and said, you just don't know what will happen if I don't do this. Have more confidence in knowing that God has your back when you stand up and do the right thing. We all one day have to give an account for every action and every deed that we've ever done, each one of us. And when that day comes, and when God asks you, what would you say? This is about fairness. It's about fairness. It's about opportunity. And I don't have to tell you, because many of you know, there are a lot of areas in this state where people are not represented properly. And they can't even pick up the phone and call somebody to help them. Let's just do the right thing. Be fair and allow us to have the opportunity to have proper representation. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Barrow.